chairs, please go grab some.
I'm passing around a sign-in sheet. Those of you who are new, please just write your name into the empty spaces and then sign off that you were here.
Write that down. Sticky notes.
Take notes, make sure your pockets are clean.
I see what you, so,
You know what? I haven't even checked them out yet. I'm sorry.
I customized them according to the lab. So the writing lab has the library in the back.
A library?
Like theme.
Oh, okay. I was like, the back of the, so it's digital. Okay, no, I see. Feel free to have a seat anywhere you like.
right there.
No, I have like three practical.
Oh, it's a whiteboard though.
Yeah, I didn't look like
Oh,
one.
yeah. That was the kind of said at first, but then I see the shiny.
Yeah, it makes sense of that.
Man, this is really laggy.
No, those are insurance.
The kids.
I think that's
come in and they play their Netflixes and their.
I'm gonna close the door.
Is that everybody?
Engaged. All right. Good afternoon, everybody. It's been a while since we've gotten together like this, and like, oh, like we're not separate into different like labs and such. Like it's just everyone together. So, as I said, please make sure that you guys sign up on the sign-in sheet. If your name is not added to the list yet, then please fill it in the empty slots and sign your name in the signature spot. Today we have just a couple of items that we wanted to go over with everyone together, and since we have this opportunity, we're gonna do that. First thing is that we want to introduce to the team some of the new tutors that we've been hiring over the throughout the semester. So if you are a new tutor, can you raise your hand, please? Just like 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, cool. Over here we have Miss. Well, why don't you tell us your name?
Hi, my name is Flor Gutierrez, and I'll be tutoring the patient care technician and the certified nurse assistant.
So you guys may not see a lot of Flo. She's going to be primarily working at iTech. So she'll be over there. I think she's in the PCT.
Yeah, I started on the 14th.
Well, then we'll come right over here. Why don't you introduce yourself?
Hi, my name is Marta Villanueva, and I'll be the tutor for anatomy and physiology.
I believe you are scheduled to work at our STEM lab here at St. Pete.
Yes.
Is that correct? No. But I mean, if you feel like going and working at iTech, just let us know. We're happy to schedule you. We just got it. Come on.
Already poaching? Come on.
He was like, when are they gonna like brush the paper? We need you.
But yes.
Let's not get crazy, right?
But yes, Ms. Villanueva, things are starting. Over here, Mr.
I'm Eric Witton, and I'm gonna be coach algebra tutor.
Now, Mr. McDonald, you are currently attending a lecture in the morning?
Yes.
Okay, just wanted to make sure that was happening. I was like, did we tell him? But yes, we did. Okay, cool. But I believe next semester, he's gonna be helping out full force, just like all the other tutors that are here. And finally, Mr.
My name is Isaac Bednan. I'm going to be doing the tutor for computer science.
We have 2 other tutors that are relatively new, but I don't see them here today. But one of them, the writing lab, you guys are already aware. It's Ms. Italia Salazar. She's been helping already in the lab, so that's good. I'm glad. I'm sure you guys are appreciating the assistance. We are working on hiring more composition tutors to work in the writing lab, so hopefully one, maybe two more on the way.
Yeah, one on the way.
One on the way for sure, and then another one we're gonna find out.
Alright, sounds good.
Uh,
Keep them coming.
like whatever you got, just let us know. And the final new tutor is Mr. Jose Segovia. Mr. Segovia is going to be tutoring for.
Respiratory therapy.
That's correct. So respiratory care,
That's really awesome for the,
respiratory care
Yeah.
science.
yeah, that's really good.
Yes. So he is another tutor that will be primarily located at iTech. That's where the respiratory care program is taking place. But during these meetings when we're all together, we're gonna, I'm sure you're gonna see his face. And those of you that are working at iTech, you'll probably see him come in from time to time. So, yes, Mr. Espinosa.
Oh, it's okay. So, just so you all know, and we hear your voices, and we're your representatives, and we just want to let you know, your message of more tutors, it's getting all the way to the top. So, I mean, professors come up to us, and before we even say anything, they're like, I know, we're working on it, we're trying to get you more tutors, and, administration and everything. So the message is out there, and we're glad to have you on our team, those of you that have been here, those of you that are new. But yeah, the message is going out.
That's true. Sometimes we get instructors coming up and saying, like, did so-and-so apply already? I don't see it. I want to talk to him or her. So, it's definitely being communicated. So, thank you, sir. Appreciate that. One thing that I do want to highlight about the new tutors is, for the most part, these guys are new, and they, as those of you that have been working with us already know, they haven't gone through their CRA training yet. That will be taking place in the spring semester before we begin the semester, before we begin the spring semester. So we would really like for you guys to, the tutors that are already working, the tutors that have been here for a while, we'd like for you guys to help us by encouraging these new tutors to shadow with you guys. Those of them that are in the labs here and at iTech as well, if you guys are spending some hours in the iTech lab, allow the tutors, the new tutors to watch you and observe how you're working with the students and what strategies you're using to encourage the students to participate in the sessions, and it doesn't become just like a pseudo lecture where you're just doing everything on the board or putting everything onto their assignment. Exhibit those skills, those tutoring skills that help the students become strong, independent learners, and encourage them to ask questions of you. Anything that they may have seen or anything that they may have heard from other students or tutors, be open to answering those questions and let them know, honestly, anything you need to know, just tell me. I'm here, there's no students right now, somehow, so ask me whatever you need to ask me. So we hope that you guys help us with that endeavor. That way, by the time we get to spring semester, it's almost like papitas for them. Oh yeah, they told me all this already. Or Rosai explained this part of the tutoring already, so it's fine. So yes, congratulations, all of you new tutors. Welcome aboard. A couple of other points that I want to address before I hand the reins over to Mr. Espinosa. We want to ask you guys to do your best to keep the lounge clean. One thing I do want to point out is I want to say thank you to everyone for, since we've asked you to no longer eat in the labs, I do see that you're doing your best to come over to the lounge area and have your lunch there or have your snacks there. So I really we do appreciate that. Thank you very much. But we also encourage you to keep the area clean as much as possible. And I know it's not easy because something exploded in the microwave. I'm I need to clean this, or I spilled coffee, but I have a student and I need to go help the person right now. It's a team effort. So if there's something that you guys need help with in terms of keeping the area clean, you can let us know, or let your partners know, your teammates know. Do you mind just take care of this real quick and I'll take care of the next one? Yes, of course I can help you. Let's all work together to have a nice, clean area to eat and to hang out and chat. And I do see you guys doing that sometimes as well. So we want a nice place to spend the time.
Hey, I'm sorry, just a quick note, could y'all keep an eye out for an extra table to stick in there? Maybe
That's what I was
just keep an eye out, great minds think alike.
The one that was in there.
I know,
That
that's why I
But
didn't
that
say
one was too
anything.
large for the space, sir, I want a space appropriate table. But now that our team is increasing, we do need a few more areas.
Just get a cafeteria, easy.
Oh.
So maybe we should just relocate to,
Our own
We'll
home.
relocate to,
we can definitely do that. So
Okay.
we'll keep an eye on it.
What if we switch the?
conference room and
We thought about that, but they need their little conference area for meetings and interviews.
Yeah, well, actually, the conference room table is too large for that space.
you can switch that.
We'd actually like, I think we were seriously considering that, some time ago, and we did some measurements, and it wasn't that good, so, that's fine. Sorry, Ray.
Just get the table.
Like, how many people? Anyway, one thing in particular that I wanna point out about keeping the lounge area clean, it's not really cleanliness per se, but we do our best to make sure that there's always like a gallon or like a jug of water, so that we can flip it to something to drink, as opposed to like fountain stuff. And I do notice that you guys will replace those when one is empty, and that's great, thank you very much. I encourage you to continue doing that. But please close the jugs if you're like swapping it out for the empty one for the full one. They're like, it's moist, it's wet inside of those jugs, and it does like grow algae or bacteria. So, like, please make sure that the cap is gone and closed, otherwise, like, you'll start to see, like, green stuff on the inside. And it's not impossible to clean, I've done it before, a little water, a little baking soda, and it just kind of scrubs it out and sanitizes on the inside. But, you know, if we all make sure that everything's like clean and appropriately stored, you know, we won't have to do that as often. Cool beans. Spring 2023 availability. I know it's kind of early to start talking about that, but we are being asked to like push embedded tutoring and Link to Success for the spring semester a lot. And because of that, I want to make sure that we have y'all's availability for the spring semester as early as possible, so that we can not only determine what classes you guys will be covering, but really how much coverage we can provide. So at the end of the semester, we can tell administration, this is where we are in terms of coverage, in terms of staffing. So this is realistically the coverage that we can provide in the following semester. I want to make sure that expectations are realistic on both sides. You know, I don't want them to think like, yes, every single class, just put 2 tutors and everything. Like, whoa, we need the staff. And we're working on it, as we mentioned earlier, but your availability will help us understand and help us determine how close we can get to, you know, our coverage goals. So if you are already looking at your degree plans and already determining what courses you think you might want to take, if you're already kind of seeing what your schedule looks like, or if you haven't done that yet, and you're planning on doing it in the next few weeks, keep that in mind. Like, well, maybe I want Monday, Wednesday, Friday classes so I can work Tuesday, Thursday. Or maybe I want all morning classes so I can just work in the afternoons and evenings. You know, so whatever pattern you may find. I know it's not always possible, like, oh, well, this class closed, so I have to take this other one, you know, or my classes are in Edinburgh, so I have to be driving back and forth. You know, we know the struggle is real. But the earlier you guys can help us with those schedules, with your availability, the sooner we can start creating schedules for the labs, and we can roll that out to you all and to faculty and administration, so that everybody knows this is what we're gonna do. Great. Last thing, tutor profile questionnaire. A couple of days ago, I believe, Ms. Kimberly Medina sent out a quiz request, or like a little survey request to you guys, asking you for some basic like profile stuff, profile information about you. Reason being is that a couple weeks ago, Mr. Espinosa and I attended a webinar where we had a presentation from this, what was her name, Miss Bridget Brennan?
Yeah.
Bridget?
Mm-hmm.
Bridget something.
Mm-hmm.
But she is the director of the Learning Center at Texas A&M, TAMU.
Mm-hmm.
And she was talking to us about how she runs her learning center and how she uses her data. So really just providing a lot of information and advice on how we can improve services in all of our places, not just at TSC, but there's a lot of different people attending, different schools attending. But one of the things that really impressed me was the way that the website was set up. The way that their website was, it just seemed very, like, not just flashy. You know, there was images and there was pictures and things like that, but it also seemed accessible. And that's what I really liked about it. Now, we're not gonna be able to turn ours around like from like one day to the next, but small steps will help us in achieving that goal. And the first thing that I would like to do is, on our webpage, adding a 4th tab called Meet Our Tutors. And so it's gonna be a quick little profile where it'd be like picture of you and all that information that you filled out in the survey that Ms. Medina sent out. You can add as much information as you like, as much detail as you like, but we would like a baseline of like major, math. Okay, you're a math major. And where do you work? Math lab. Cool, that lines up. And that way, students can go to our page, they can see who they're working with beforehand. They'll know who Frank is and they'll be happy to make an appointment with them. Or they'll know who Isaac is and they'll be happy to make an appointment with Isaac. Like as they walk into the lab, like I made an appointment with Isaac and you're him. So, yes ma'am.
Hey, I didn't receive that email for the tutor profile thing, FYI.
Okay.
Am I still
Well,
finding you?
No, yes, of course.
I think that was it.
I'll work with Ms. Medina after the meeting to make sure you get that link.
I think that was the last point.
Can you meet me outside?
Right?
5 minutes.
So, yes, when you guys have a chance, I believe there is a deadline in that,
11.
For the new tutors too, because I don't.
yes, of course. We sent out that email link based on our current contact list, and new tutors haven't quite been added to that one yet. So we'll make sure that we send that out to you as well. It's a work in progress. So yes, we'll make sure that Elvira, you get your link, as well as all the new tutors that are here and the ones that are not. Hi, Italia. That's Italia, by the way.
Yeah, all right.
That about does it for our quick information points. I will turn it over to Mr. Espinosa for our presentation tonight. Sit in your chair.
Okay, hi there, everybody. So, we want to utilize this time the best way we can. So we want to go ahead and pass along information, and then if you have any questions about anything, go ahead and come to us as usual afterwards, either in person or by email, and we'll go ahead and answer. So, what are we going to go over today? So, I'll explain this in a bit, so you don't have to read it.
Can everybody see the board? I feel like I'm in the way.
No, you're good, you're good.
Okay. Yeah, that's good right there. Okay. Alrighty, so, as part of the CR League training that we had earlier this semester, we covered, what do we do in the case of an active attacker? We went over some really good information. It completely still stands. Those of you that didn't receive it, it's something that we're gonna have reoccurring. TSC does a really good job to make sure all the staff and employees are aware of what we should do in case of emergency. But, so you can know a little bit about me. I attend a local church, and there I serve as one of their ushers, one of the people that, greets people, make sure everyone has what they need and things like that. And it was pretty interesting. We had this training, 8 hours long, but every minute was actually very insightful. They covered the stuff that we went over, run, hide, fight, so that stuff sounded familiar, but that was only the last hour. There was 7 hours of other stuff that we don't really cover with run, hide, fight, and what they explain here at TSC. And I was like, man, this is really good information. I want to go ahead and share this with our tutors because one, it helps you as an employee, but a lot of this stuff you'll see it applies as an individual. So I'm gonna jump right into it. It was presented to me as well with the rest of the community that I serve with. And so who are they? Who are these people? They go around training different organizations, programs, and things like that. They even help churches, so it's like a brand of that. The information that I'm going to provide for you, I can't cram 7 hours worth of stuff in a short little presentation, but there are a few points I want you to sink in, and maybe something sticks, you know. So I'm going to go over who these trainers were, and some points that I want to go ahead and cover are 5 levels of security awareness, circles of defense, examples that we've seen here at TSC and why this matters, methods of attack that attackers go ahead and use, the skill of profiling, emergency response plan, and then also a brief overview over Run Hack Fight presented by TSC. So this was the presenter. His name's Profeto Esquivel. He has 25 years of experience working in ministry and 10 years of experience working in security service, whether it be guarding a certain, high priority person who poses a threat to a lot of people, and people have malicious intent to that person, or whether it be, a congregation of people. So you don't have to go and read through the rest of that, but I wanted to go ahead and stop right here real quick. 25 years of ministry experience. Why does this matter? As some of you might know, I go ahead and help out with a local ministry that helps the homeless and less fortunate, the Red Wagon Ministry. We help people that are from the streets, people that are, not in the best situation. And it's been a life-changing experience, and you get to meet people, you get to talk with people, you get to learn how to talk with different kinds of people. And just by giving them your time, you give them respect, you give them dignity, you get to learn about people. You get people from all over parts of life. You got people running away from home because it's a bad situation. You have people that are, need help, mentally or physically or something like that. You have people that choose to be out there. You have people that are traveling. So you meet all different kinds of people. With all that, you get to see all different kinds of people. And I've met some wonderful people that have changed my life. I've changed theirs. Some have been at my own wedding, and some are now even my best friends. But you also get to see, people with not good intent as well. And so you see some colorful stuff out there. So, and this is the world, the streets, we're at a university. Why does this apply to me? So, at a church, and that's why we receive this training, a church is a place where people invite, everyone's welcome. Everyone's welcome to go ahead and come on in. And we want to keep people safe though. So the families are here, loved ones are here, visitors with good intentions are here. So out of care and love and care for these people, I'm going to go ahead and keep on guard for people that have bad intentions. So that's why that really incorporates the whole idea of this presentation and this material. Is like it's not a where are you going? Where are you going? It's not, it's not like look at me, and it's not an ego thing. It's like a care for people you care about, and protection. One, for yourself, and be self-aware, right? But also for those that, like I said, this is not just for at work, right? But this is for when you're out and about in life too. So the first thing I want to go over, the 5 levels of security awareness. Some of you have maybe seen in an email from Safety Risk Management, but also the way that Mr. Nathan speaks, situational awareness, being aware of your surroundings. So there's 5 different levels. They're broken down into colors. The first level is level white. So do I have a brave person who wants to go and read nice and loud what that looks like? All right. Thank you very much, Mr. David. So you can read what level white looks like.
Safe and secure, not outdoors on phone. This should only be when you are safe and secure behind locked doors in your own home.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. David. And we go ahead and support people that go ahead and brave enough to go ahead and speak in front of people. So yeah, you're at home, doors are locked, everyone's home, you know where everyone's at, if you're packing, you know where it's at, and it's accessible. If you're not, you're still safe, you get to be vulnerable, you have your guard down. So, these are actually notes that I scanned and I was taking, you know, while I was watching the presentation. That's why that little squiggly bit, that's my handwriting. You can read it, that's pretty good, you know. Sometimes I can't read my own handwriting. But unfortunately, too many people live at this level, and level white. That I got my guard down. Nothing bad's ever gonna happen. People don't have bad intentions. I could leave my stuff there. It's fine, you know. I like the example they went ahead and used, you know, you're walking through the parking lot in the mall or whatever, taking selfies, you know, and listening to music and this and that, and you know, you get in your car and you're still texting or whatever, taking your time to get in your car, you know, by the time you close it up or whatever, you know, too many people living in this level. We'll go on right to the next one. This is level yellow, constantly aware and conscious. I want everyone to go ahead and repeat after me. Live in yellow.
Live in yellow.
One more time. Live in yellow.
Live in yellow.
Okay, all right. George, can you go ahead and read for us what living in yellow looks like?
Yes, sir. Constantly aware and conscious of your surroundings. This is a level we should always remain in as we go throughout our day, wherever we may go.
Okay, thank you very much, George. We support you. So, you have 5 senses. What are they? You can shout them out. It's okay. Sight,
smell, taste.
Hear, touch. Right. You have 5 senses. At least, you know, most of us use them. Use them. Okay. So this is just walking about through your normal day. You know, like the parking lot's a big one. We'll get into that in just a little bit. But just when you're going through your day, or even at work, and that's why we're presenting it here at work, keep your senses open. And that's why when you're working here, what do we not allow while you're working?
Headphones.
We don't allow earphones, because one, we want you to be alert, ready for customers that go ahead and come on in, but also just situational awareness. Use your senses, your eyes. Something smells a little funny, something sounded a little off. A lot of you spend a lot of time, you're gonna be spending, and those of you that are new, you're gonna be spending a lot of time in the labs. You're gonna notice patterns. Okay, you know, I know by now, at 4 p.m., the kids from the daycare nearby, they're out there to go ahead and play for about an hour, sometimes 45 minutes. They also have one in the morning. Also, they frequently have fire alarm drills, probably once, twice a month, math lab? Which one is it, like once, twice a month? They have frequent fire drills. The light goes off in their building, but it's only towards them. You know, the classes go out at this time, you know, this is how it looks in the evening, this is how it looks in the morning. Recognize those patterns. If something's unusual, that should put your little ears up. Something's different. Another one is, let's say you're walking on your own somewhere or something like that, and you're walking in a certain direction for a while, just be aware, you know, turn around. See, you know, just so you're aware of your surroundings. I had this in my head yesterday, and I was getting ready for this presentation, and I was walking in my car, and I was leaving for the day, and there was a professor that I knew, and I was like, oh, cool, let me go and say hi. But I was like behind them, and I'm like, I'm waiting for them to like turn around or something, and like they didn't turn around the whole time until they finally got to the car and they're leaving, you know, and they're already like putting their stuff away. So by the time, you know, I'm like, well, I'm not gonna go, hey, you know, what? You know. So, but like they completely didn't know I was there, and I was like 4 feet, 5, whatever, you know, reasonable distance, fine. But yeah, so just be aware of your surroundings. That's what I'm trying to say. Next level, orange, potential threat. Identified. Frank, can you please do me a favor? Can you read that for us?
Yeah. This is a level where you have become aware of a possible threat or actually identify a threat near you.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Frank, for reading that. Nice. So yeah, this is, what does this look like? You know, hey, I heard some glass break around the corner. What was that? You know, taking a look, you know. Hey, that person, I like the example that they went ahead and give. I'll try to keep it short. The presenter's wife was actually at the Dollar Tree, and you know, she was just shopping, and then she was just being situationally aware, right? Because she was like, you know, I know this stuff already. She like just looked around. She looks down the aisle, And when she sees this, some guy just popped right back out of the aisle, was you know, snooping down, that's just weird. Okay, so she went from yellow to all of a sudden to orange. It's like, this is not normal. So she goes to the aisle, comes around, sees the guy. She's ignoring him. I mean, he's ignoring her. She's going down the aisle. He's trying to ignore her, but when he does look back, he's looking at her bag in the shopping cart. So she's like, this is not good. So she goes up to him, just says, hey, you got a problem or something or what? You know, she's like, hey, confronted the guy face to face. You got a problem? He got scared, he got spooked, he, walked off. And of course, he goes outside, right? So she tells the employer so they can go check the parking lot, because now he's in the parking lot, right? She's got to get to her car. He wasn't there, but it's just an example being situationally aware. The last two ones, red should sound familiar. This is confrontational fight. So, what's it called? Ray, can you go and read for us red? What that looks like?
Confrontation/fight. At this level, you have engaged the threat in a real fight or fight for life situation. No matter what happens, never quit fighting, and as long as you keep fighting, you have a chance to survive.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Ray. I forgot to say this in the beginning. Trigger warning, if you need to step out at any time, don't worry, no judgment here. But anyways, I like the story they went ahead and said about this one too. True event. There was a 14-year-old girl waiting on a bus stop, waiting for this, school bus to go and come by and pick her up. It's kind of like, kind of dark out still. It's like that early in the morning. Guy comes up behind her, goes in, just picks her up, because she's a 14-year-old girl, right? This is a man. Goes and picks her up, takes her off to her van. Fast forward through the story, this girl is able to get away, gets to another school bus stop, gets to the bus driver, she's bleeding, she's panicking, and she's like, what just happened? It's like, oh, this guy tried to, get me, what? It's like, what happened to the guy? How are you here? She's like, I started fighting. And okay, and then what happened? I didn't stop. I kept fighting. So it just kept on going and going and going. And this is something that runs into that whole run, hide, fight type of scenario that we've already covered with TSC. So this hopefully never happens, but just so you can be aware. And great, panic and freeze. We also talked about this, or we got presented to about this phenomenon as well. Completely frozen, unable to defend oneself due to panic or fear. So when people are living in white, you have your guard down, nothing bad's gonna happen, and then that bad thing does happen, just give me that, right? Just boom, or even worse, right? What is this happening right now? A shock, fear, you freeze, you don't do anything. So,
Like the goats?
yeah, the goats, yeah, they freeze. And I actually like this, part of our training, we actually got to do enactment of, what's it called, of an active shooter. What if, because something they did go ahead and address was real life situations where people came into assemblies, and we'll go into why people go to churches in specific. So they actually had a rubber gun, and they went ahead and simulated it and things like that. And after they simulated the first one, everyone's like, oh, I know about this. We just got finished trained about this. I gotta run, and I gotta get away, and I know where the exits are and everything, right? Everyone sits down. All right, oh, well, did you see that? And oh yeah, I ran out of this one. Someone else had the rubber gun, and they started standing up. Bang, 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 bang. No, everyone completely frozen, because they weren't expecting it. They were just like, what? I thought the training was over. But that was the point. It was like to show that this is a very real thing. And just like they went ahead and explained, from safety and risk management, the best thing to do is just shake out of that, be aware, decide now to go that you're gonna beat right through that state and get to safety.
Which I would say just like now.
Ready, senor?
Yeah, true, what's that?
If we were, we should do what? We should.
Block the
Depends, right? It all depends. And that's something too about all these. These aren't all constants. This is all every single time. Every situation's gonna be different, but these are just things to be aware of and keep in mind. So some examples that we've had here at TSC. So the Cleary report, raise your hand if you know what that is, the Cleary report? A little bit, sort of, kind of, okay. So what the Cleary report is, based off of a case that happened years back, every organization, right, every school, college, has to go ahead and release publicly what has happened on that campus. So burglaries, assaults, crime, all kinds of things.
TSC has one available as well.
And they recently released it, it's publicly available, all universities have this, by law they need this on their site. I don't know about all the states, but at least Texas for sure. So they just went ahead and released it out with their examples of what's on there. I don't want to, I don't want to have technical difficulties, but I'm gonna try it.
You might have to do a shift click with you.
I'll shift click.
Oh.
Oh, Netflix. There you go. Clear report. So this is public information, everyone can see it. They have it for every year. They have it for 2002, the latest one. And I like it because they go into definition, it's pretty long. They go into definition of what every crime, let me get to the juicy part. Here we go. Okay, so for every year, what is destruction and damage and vandalism, hate crimes, domestic violence, burglary, motor theft, aggravated assault, sexual offenses, different kinds of sexual offenses, manslaughter, murder, all those things, and they're supposed to go ahead and report how many instances of that have been conducted on campus, and they go into definition of what are each, you know, what are we explaining that this crime is, what do we count as on campus, what do we count as not on campus. But yeah, thankfully it's all pretty much zeros for the most part. You know, we do have burglary, 2 burglaries happened last year, so. I don't know. Stalking, 2 of them last year. Drug use, that was back in 19, right? 19. Yeah, I think 19. So yeah, all those details are available and public. What are examples, I went ahead and whipped up this little presentation. What have I seen? What have we, like, the supervisors have seen around here? So, workers leaving materials in labs, they were just working on the vents, right? You know, and tools and random stuff sometimes gets left behind. There was a horse in the parking lot one time. I've told that story before. If you haven't heard it, stick around. Sexual item found over there by the restroom, water fountain area. The bomb threat that we had in the summer, alcohol in the lab, stalkers. On different occasions, suspicious characters on campus. These are just ones that I've personally physically seen, and this wasn't like, oh, who are you? Oh, you're fine? Okay, good. No, this was like, oh, who are you? Oh, you're not supposed to be here. Oh, okay. So the guy that was standing by the daycare, I don't know who, I was a work study, who was there with me when that happened. So the guy just standing by the daycare right here, and he was just staring into it, and just kind of like standing there for a couple minutes. Police had to go ahead and approach him and tell him he couldn't be there. Yeah, the guy was approaching students on the benches. He wasn't also not supposed to be there. And the yellow jacket guy, oh, the yellow jacket guy was, yeah, just, you know, probably needed some help. I don't know how the story ended, but basically was, we had a meeting and we just came out of it over here in South Hall, right here by the little open slidey doors. And I was there with my boss, and all of a sudden this guy with the yellow jacket comes in. It wasn't raining or nothing. he's like, hey, where can I show my project? I came to show my project. It's, you know, NASA doesn't wanna come and look at it, but I want them to see my project. Where can I go? So all of a sudden, my boss is like, hey, get closer. I'm like, no, yeah, I'm getting closer, you know, it's just, you know, that Dr. Fuentes, you know, so, yeah, man, female. So, yeah, okay, all right, well, hold on, guy, you know, we'll get you some help right now. Thankfully, security was nearby too, so they went ahead and took it over pretty quick, and you know, he got escorted where he needed to go. So none of that ended up on the third report, right? But I just wanna show, these are like little things here and there, unusual. So
This was, just to
Yeah.
add, this one may come out on the 22 report, or the 23 report rather. Oh, sorry.
Now you're good.
Like, as you guys noticed, it went to 21, so I guess the following may include this bomb threat, which, like, yeah, it was like a whole thing, it was a real thing.
Yeah. So this stuff does happen, and it's kind of like, nah, my job's kind of chill. I'm just here, not just talking about your job. Be situationally aware wherever you go, you know? Those of you that are with your loved ones, to go ahead and protect and look after your loved ones, you know? But also yourselves, you know? When you're out there, to be aware of yourself. So these are things that happen around here. I like that they presented this because it kind of gives me a little comfort, but also gives me some way to organize what's going on. This is the circle of defense. When threats come out from the outside, they have to go ahead and cross through each barrier to go ahead and get to, when they're explaining to us, the congregation, which is the people at the church, right? For our purposes, we're talking about students and ourselves. So, thankfully, we have a really good team for security. Brownsville PD, they have patrol cars that, you know, constantly stay around. They kind of just, you know, I like the term, they go and use parade the area. Why? Because you know, you go into the studies, I studied it a little bit. Those of you that are criminal justice, you can attest to this. One of the best ways to go ahead and stop crime is deter, before it even starts. It's like, hey, don't even try it. So that's why they have the presence, and that's why they walk around. And they might not look like they're not doing anything, but they're just that presence. So they cover most of these first circles. Information and intelligence, we're gonna go over each one of them. Technology, protocols and procedure, prevention, people, and defense. So, first one, intelligence. Take note of information we receive and take them seriously. Sometimes you might get a rave. Who's got that? The rave texts, right? So that works. You know that you're gonna get contacted if something happens at TSC. But also just from your coworkers. Hey, you know what? We had this student come by. It sounded a little strange, it looked a little strange. Bring it up to either your coworkers or bring it up to us, because you don't know, that might be the 5th time that happened. So, look out for each other. So, I got one set of eyes, one set of ears, one set of senses. But I would like to think that in this room, and the way that we're spread out, that I actually have 20 sets of eyes, 20 sets of ears. You know what I'm saying, right? So that if so-and-so can go ahead and hear this and communicate this, they can let the rest of us know, too. Just looking out for each other. I'm not saying you're not obligated to go ahead and jump in front of someone else and catch a bullet for them or something like that. But I'm asking, keep an eye out, keep an ear out. You hear something weird happen before you end the shift, if you're transitioning over, or if you're overlapping, mention it to your coworker. Let them know. Let us know. Like, hey, was there construction going on or whatever going on in the lab today? Because I know right now they've been doing work on the vents and stuff like that. Well, no, they were already done with that. Oh, this guy kept on walking in the lab with like construction gear and stuff like that. And good thing is, 80% of the time, 90% of the time, it's gonna be nothing. Good. At least you're aware of what's going on. You're not just there. Develop a proactive plan and protocols. That's going over the trainings that we're doing now, and you know, that we continually do. Bolo list. Bolo list, who's heard of that, Bolo list? Yeah. Be on the lookout. Be on the lookout for this person. So, we had one a few months back. It was pretty harmless. It was just some guy, didn't have a home. He was staying in some spots around the campus. We went in and showed this picture around, and he was no longer staying on campus anymore. So, I will go ahead and mention an event that happened right now. We did have an event happen a few days ago, and everyone should go ahead and be aware what happened. Nothing not too serious or nothing like that, but it's kind of like, hey, this is not good. It was at the math lab. So it was someone, when I came on campus, that's no longer allowed on campus anymore. Why? Because of the way that they were acting. Is it the first time? No, it was already multiple times. So, what's it called? I'm gonna go ahead and share the brief summary of this story and go ahead and let you know about it. So, it does, Jordan, you were there. So, she's already explained the story a few times. Don't ask her, because I don't know about you guys, but do you like to go ahead and be reminded of something unpleasant and uncomfortable? So, don't go ahead and ask her. I advise you about that. But yeah, so it was right here in the math lab, and we had a student go ahead and call over our tutor. Hey, and she looked kind of like not okay. And she called her over, and then all of a sudden the student's mother comes over. She starts getting aggressive and start with her language and just her volume and her tone, just like, hey, what are you doing? And and just handled it great. The tutor handled it fantastically. But we did go ahead and report that out to safety, security, and we found out it wasn't the first time. And so that person is no longer allowed here. She's charged with trespassing. Brief description of what she is. She's about about this height, like 5'4", something like that. Gray hair. She's overweight. At the time, she's been known to go ahead and wear clothes that are a little too tight, and uses like loud language all of a sudden. So just, it's not okay. When I was looking into it, a few other tutors were like in the math lab or in the other lab and heard what was going on, but that's about it. We only have one person that actually saw it, which was that tutor. So that's why, that's not the reason for this. I had this training like probably about 3 weeks ago, and we went over it as supervisors, and Mr. Sergio and my colleagues here, they were kind enough for me to go ahead and present this information with them. But then all of a sudden, as soon as we did that, this happened, and then something else happened too, and I was like, whoa, let me share this information. So that's why I say, you hear something, you see something, ask questions. I can't redo situations. We all make mistakes. I'm not pointing the finger at no one. I'm not putting shame or blame or nothing. When stuff happens down, who's to say what we're actually gonna do in the moment, right? But looking back, I'm like, man, it would have been great if someone could actually just at least peep, like, hey, what's going on? Oh, that's not right. Let me get someone. Let me call security. Let me get a supervisor or something like that. So by the way, if you do see this person and they kind of match the description that I go ahead and gave, call security. Call security right away. Don't go ahead and you can jump over us and then let us know. Call security first, then let us know. What's it called? Yeah. So that's one of the persons that we have on the list. Yes. Oh, there's a little bit.
Okay.
I wanted to mention what was unfortunate and why it's important to be informed that everyone kind of has like a good baseline of information and a good understanding of what they should do. Is we actually were at a training. It was on campus, but we were in Oliveda at the time that this event took place. So for whatever reason, it was just like this serendipitous lining up of events where there weren't any supervisors available at the time, and it was unfortunate that that took place when we couldn't really be here to respond. So that's why we're saying it's good for everyone to be everyone, like, we should all be each other's eyes and ears, you know? And when someone's locked in an engagement, they don't always have the opportunity to like, would you give me a second because I need to make a call? But if someone else is watching and they understand like, this probably shouldn't be taking place, let me call somebody, or let me contact someone, or find out like why, you know, like, there isn't additional presence here. So yeah, that's kind of like just adding into what you're like, being informed.
Yeah, and the good thing is about security is they would rather be called and not needed than not called. So don't worry about like, oh, I don't know if it's a real thing, you know, I should bother them. I mean, we call them to go ahead and open the doors and things like that. So they're used to getting all kinds of different calls, and they've physically told us on multiple occasions, call us anyways. That's why when each of y'all get hired, that's why I ask you, save campus security on your phone. If you work at iTech, it's a different phone number, right? Save it on your phone, because eventually you're gonna need it for something small, or if it's something unusual, you will have that contact ready. Also, let me give you some practical advice real quick. So first one is go to security right away. Another thing is majority of our students, they're gonna be at least basic cordial with us. But like I went ahead and explained at the beginning of the semester, for a tutoring session to happen, there needs to be mutual respect. Respect from you to the student, respect from the student to you. If that's not there, the session can't happen. If that's not there, you need to stop. Stop, take a step back. And depending on the situation, if it's already being escalated to, you know, okay, this person's getting loud, unreasonable, I can't even, okay, just walk out. Just walk out. Walk out, leave, find one of us, find an experienced tutor, level 3 tutor or something like that, just to at least get like, hey, this just happened, and they can give you some help. You know, I've done that a few times, even with Mr. Motto. It's like, I just can't right now. You know, I need you to take over. You're tagging in, or like, hey, am I doing the right thing? So, yeah, that's why I work as a team. So that's one option. If you can handle it and contain it there, as long as there's still respect, and you can still, hey, maybe things are just getting tense. Okay, let's take a break. Let's take a breather. You go take a walk, I'll go take a walk, we'll come back if there's still respect. If that respect's broken and it's no longer there, you know, session's not happening, okay? Go and find one of us. We're here for customer service, and we're here to deliver customer service, but we're not here to go ahead and take stuff that we're not supposed to be getting, okay? Yeah, and security, that's stressing that. Anyways,
Everybody knows the security's phone number?
everyone has a good phone? Yes?
Okay.
We don't?
We can share, let us know.
Next up, technology. Communication runs on the chain. Word of mouth always works best. We have Teams that we use, email, WhatsApp now. WhatsApp is voluntary, you don't have to be on it, but it can help, you know, in certain situations, or even like, hey, David brought donuts in the lunch. Thank you, David, you know? He did.
I told, oh wait, no, you weren't there. Yeah.
It's in the group chat,
I
sir.
know.
That's my bad.
So, next up, prevention, people. Like I said, deterrence. So, let me give a real quick example, and I'm running short of time. So, unfortunately, this country has seen a lot of bad things recently with malicious attackers, people trying to cause damage, harm, take people's lives. The country of Israel is, I mean, the people of Israel it's pretty interesting. They've been experienced what we've been experienced recently, this rise. They've been seeing it for decades. They're a very attacked nation of people. So one example that they went ahead and gave was a person that went ahead and was, you know, actually committed a bombing at a restaurant. After investigation, they found out that he went to 2 other restaurants before. Why did he bomb the third one? After some investigation and interrogation, they went ahead and found out he went to the first one. As soon as he went to the door, the people there at work, they were orderly, they were there, people were at attention, they were keeping an eye, everything was in order. Couldn't do his shady stuff. We went to the next one. Similar situation, people in place, people with eyes, people around, people just caring and doing their job. Couldn't do it. You went to the third one, not so much. People really didn't care, just kind of around, you know, and you guys know what I'm talking about. I'm not making up some kind of story or something like, you know, when you go to like some higher up place or whatever like that, you know, it's like, oh snap, you know, these people are on point, you know, they're keeping their stuff sharp, they're keeping their stuff, hi, how can I help you today? Are you okay with everything? Is there anything, you know, they address you, you know, it's not like, you know, stripes at 4 in the morning, you know, it's like, is there even anyone that I can pay? Anyway, so your eyes and ears, one of the best deterrents. Don't assume anything. This is more for what I received, but it kind of lends to a point that I'm trying to get to. Ask questions. Don't assume that that person's just probably there. And one of our great things is our script that we have. And what's our script?
Hi, how can I help you?
All right, perfect. Yeah. Hi, how can I help you? And sometimes it is just like 90% of the time it's like, how can I help you? I'm a tutor. I'm here to help you. I work at TC. Da da da. But sometimes it's like, what you doing? You know, that's what it also means. Because everyone's doing something. Even when you're doing nothing, you're doing something. You're either on your phone, listening to music, you're waiting for a ride, you're doing something. So, hey, is there anything I can help you out with? That's like most of my job. That's what I do. I ask people what I can help them out with, and you know, you get to be friendly, know those patterns. Methods of attack. So, most attackers are cowards. They want a high payoff and low risk. It's like I kind of alluded to here. That's why people attack churches. It's like, oh, it's just going to be a bunch of little ladies and stuff like that. Or, you know, I can get in there easy. So, I'm not saying that we're a place, but this is how attackers usually go and work. They look for their prey. They look for soft targets, vulnerable. Then they go ahead and circle around, dun, dun, right? You know, like in the movies, dun, little fans, but at a distance. And they go ahead and bump up next to their little fish target, right? They bump up and they try to see what's going on. Then they get closer before they actually go ahead and attack. What does that look like in real life? You know, shady people looking at casing places. Some examples that they use, I thought that was pretty neat. The 2 burglars that we had or whatever like that. Maybe someone went in during the day, they left the window open so they can come in through later that night. Maybe they left the door open. Maybe they checked if the doors are unlocked. If people are asking weird questions, oh, who locks and opens the doors? You'll be surprised. Sometimes people get that direct. I've heard it myself. You know, it's just like, why are you asking? You don't even know. But anyway. Last thing, profiling. So, don't get this confused with being politically correct. It's just unusual stuff. If it's one of those days where it's like 100 degrees outside and you have people wearing those coats and stuff like that, you're like, okay, my interaction with this person is probably not going to be what I expect. It might be a little unusual. Something that, you know, and you can't judge a book by its cover, right? Just because they have tattoos and stuff, that means they're a bad person. No, that's not what I mean. But if you are aware of the local gangs around here, I like the example that they gave here. Some gangs have like gang wars, things like that. There's a few local gangs around here, so it's, if you know them, you know, it's good to be aware. But yeah, be aware of, watch the eyes, hands. People are gonna go ahead and, when people are nervous, their mouth is gonna get dry, things like that. They're gonna look around and stuff like that. And when people lie, they usually take a second to go ahead and respond because they're coming up with the lie. Little things like that. If it just doesn't feel right, it doesn't look right, you know, go ahead and speak up, say something, ask questions. Yeah, so just, you know, take things seriously. If you see something weird, say something. Say something, communicate, talk with your coworkers, talk with us. But yeah, and lastly, run, hide, fight. If you haven't went ahead and seen it, TSC does cover the basics here, and they're training what scenario is the best one to go ahead and do, depending on your situation. They train this at schools too, like, non-college schools as well too, so it's getting out there, the information's getting out there. So, yeah, just wanted to take this time, thank you for your attention, just wanted to be aware of what's going on. When you're at work, not at work, when you're on your own, just want you guys to be safe. You have some points?
Yes. First of all, I know there's a lot of people I haven't seen because I'm in the afternoon only. So for that case, I'm going to introduce myself again. My name is Kimberly Medina. You may call me Miss Medina. Just a little bit about me. I am a biomedical major. I'm doing my master's in HRGB, so you may see me there sometime around. Just for like the points, on Monday there's going to be trick-or-treating. The little kids, they're gonna come around 9 or 10 a.m. 10 a.m. So if you can do a little bit of decor for the doors, that'll be nice, so that we can set up and have treats for them. Another thing, for next Friday, the meeting's gonna be under General Student Skills Workshop. So we're encouraging you guys to come up with ideas that you feel like other tutors, tutors, not leaders. Other tutors might need to be aware of, okay? So we're planning on doing them on 30-minute increments. So if you have an idea that you think will be something good, brainstorm it throughout the week and you can present it to us on Friday. Not as an actual presentation, just like, voice your idea and that'll be fine. Then we can go ahead and work on it throughout the end of the semester so that we can present it on the spring.
So we're just looking for ideas. We're gonna discuss all the ideas next Friday. We do want workshops for tutors and for students. Things that you're like, if students knew this at the beginning of the semester, they would be better off. So they should we should tell them right away how to do this, how to do this, how to do this.
An example for that would be how to schedule your semester, how to keep an agenda, how to use BrainFuse, how to use Canvas, anything like that. Okay? If you have any questions, you can email me or you can stop by my office or